In 1967, I learned the FFA creed, and I believe in the future of farming. And I believe in the future of the Montana Farm Bureau because of the leadership abilities we've instilled in the 4-H kids, the FFA kids, and the young farmers and ranchers. Montana Farm Bureau has a real soft spot for 4-H and FFA. We are big supporters of those programs and big advocates of their education and their role in the community, because our future is not with me. Our future is with the young farmers and ranchers. And I feel that the future of agriculture, the future of farming is very bright.
Hello, my name is Scott Kolbeck, and I'm the coordinator for the Montana Farm Bureau Foundation. I know that right now, all across America, students of all ages are going completely stir crazy over having to stay at home and take all of their classes over the internet. And I know that you really miss those activities that bring you closer together and help you grow as an individual. For some, those activities may be sports or school clubs, but for you, I know those activities that you miss are FFA. And I know that FFA has done a great job of bringing you those activities virtually, and I congratulate them for that. FFA is so important for helping you grow, not only as a person, but as a leader for agriculture. So I thank you for all of your hard work over these last few months. I hope you stay healthy and well, and I congratulate you on behalf of all the Montana Farm Bureau Federation members across the state for earning your Montana FFA state degree.
Your State Degree session is brought to you by the Montana Farm Bureau Foundation.
Good afternoon, FFA members, parents, advisors, and guests. Welcome to the 2020 Montana FFA State Degree Session. Today, 175 individuals will be receiving the highest degree the Montana FFA Association can bestow. Receiving your state degree is something every FFA member can be immensely proud of, as well as their parents and advisors who supported, encouraged, and inspired them to get to this point. We will also be recognizing our star finalists and winners during this session. Your hard work, dedication, and passion does not go unnoticed, and I hope you all continue to pursue your passion while remembering the opportunities this Blue Jacket gave you, and give back to the organization whenever you see possible. Montana Farm Bureau Foundation has been a supporter of Montana FFA for many years, and we are so thankful for their sponsorship of the 2020 State Degree Session. Here is a message from our sponsor. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your supportive and kind words. Your service to Montana agriculture and FFA is greatly appreciated. Today's keynote address is sponsored by D.A. Davidson and BNSF Railway. We have the pleasure of having Montana's very own national officer, Mamie Hurdle, National Central Region Vice President, as our keynote speaker.
If you're anything like me, you've Googled a thing or two in your day. Maybe even when you first joined FFA, you Googled things like, why are there so many acronyms to memorize? What is a tallywhacker? And why is everyone dressed like their flight attendants? Well, when I first joined FFA in 7th grade, I too Googled these things, and everything to do with the FFA creed. Some might say I had an inborn fondness for it. So flash forward 3 years after my first year in FFA. It's the Judith Basin District Creed Speaking Competition. Town population, 247. Height presence, 5,000. This was it, the big moment. My palms were sweaty, my knees were weak, and my arms were heavy. But my mom did not cook spaghetti the night before. This was it. I heard the words, "In 5th place, Mamie Hurdle." My whole world froze. Everything around me turned to slow motion. Why, might you ask? Well, let's actually rewind back to 7th grade and that first year in FFA. That year, I started creed speaking, and I fell in love with it. In 8th grade, I continued competing in the creed speaking competition, and by my freshman year, I was obsessed. I was saying it when I went to bed, when I was in the shower, every spare moment I had. Its importance in my 15-year-old brain was preceded only by my love for all things related to Taylor Swift. So, needless to say, when that freshman year rolled around and my last chance to go to state in creed speaking, I felt more than prepared. When I walked into the room with the judges, I felt confident, and when I left the room, I felt confident. I thought I had given a great presentation, and as I waited around for the award ceremony, I felt myself get anxious. Finally, the award ceremony arrived, and I was sitting in the bleachers listening to results one by one for different competitions: 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. Finally, that moment arrived again. I heard those words, "In 5th place, Mamie Hurdle." Here's why my world froze, and not in excitement. Those words signified the end of an era. If you've ever heard the song "Look What You Made Me Do" by Taylor Swift, basically in this moment, the old Mamie died. It was gone. My opportunity to go to the state competition was no longer gonna happen. In Montana, only the top 2 individuals get to go on from the district level to compete at state. Now, I'm not great at math, but 5th place is not in the top 2. So basically, my dreams of competing at the state level had just been wiped away in the small gym of the middle of nowhere, Montana. I was sad. I thought there was no point in continuing in FFA. I didn't see a future in FFA for me, which is pretty ironic if you think about it, because if we know the creed, it starts with "I believe" over and over and over. So basically, I had just spent the past 3 years of my life fixating on the words "I believe," and here I was, after one loss, after one opportunity gone, and all of that belief was just seemingly chucked out the window. It was gone faster than my meal when I sit down at a Chick-fil-A. Thinking about 5th place, it was pretty much like that little green frog man who you see in the memes, and he's got the tear dripping down his face. Yeah, I was SAD, sad, utterly devastated, beside myself. I couldn't believe that my years of creed speaking were over. I got on the bus and sat by myself in the front. And as I was having all these thoughts about how I didn't think there was a point in me being in FFA anymore, another chapter member came and sat down by me. He started asking me about basketball, life, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I was pretty sad still, so I wasn't really up to talking, and eventually he looked at me and said, "You know, Mamie, there's more for you to do in FFA than creed speaking." And before I had the chance to say, "Excuse me, what?" he started listing off different leadership opportunities, the extemporaneous speaking competition, and so much more. I stopped and I thought about it. Maybe he was right. Maybe there was more for me to do in FFA than creed speaking. That day, because of CJ's words, I decided to continue in FFA. And continuing in FFA allowed me to experience more and do more. What is it in your life that you need to do more in? For me, it was trying that extemporaneous speaking competition and continuing to go through with my years in FFA. What is it for you that you need to do more in? I can sit here and tell you about how you need to join a new club or make a new friend or do something, but at the end of the day, it is you that has to make a conscious and intentional choice to do more. So, what is it? What do you need to do more in? Right now, we are all sitting at home thinking that this is just a time to get through, but this is a time to do more. And that thing that you're thinking about right now, put it into action. Choose to do more today. Don't let the chance to do more slip by. Listen to CJ's words that he told me, because I'm here to tell you those words today. Do more today. Now, sometimes when we do more, it allows us to see more. It allows us to experience more and learn new perspectives. Let's think about these next few questions. What do you think of when you hear the word school? What do you think of when you hear the letters FFA? What do you think of when you hear the word vegan? I'm about to tell you about a day when I got to give new meaning to these words, which I thought I knew pretty well. It was my first day of college calculus, and I sat down in my chair, ready to learn all about the chain rule, derivatives, and a whole bunch of other stuff that I knew probably would not be applicable later on in life. But that's beside the point here. As I settled in, I grabbed my laptop out of my backpack and opened it up. At the time, the background picture was a picture of my FFA teammates and I in official dress. When I did this, the girl next to me turned from silent acquaintance to outraged interrogator. She started to yell, "You're an FFA? Do you kill animals?" And before I even had a chance to realize where this girl had known I was an FFA even, I saw her staring wide-eyed and concerned at my computer screen. It was clear to me that this girl had some thoughts and ideas about what FFA was. If you've ever seen in the cartoons where the angel and the devil are sitting on a character's shoulders, you can know that I was basically having one of those moments right here and there. Basically, I had the devil on this shoulder telling me to get mad, yell at her, defend your organization, just tell her she's wrong. And then on the other side, I had the angel saying things like, be kind, be nice, explain things to her politely. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it was an internal battle not to fight for the honor of FFA right then and there, Call of Duty style. But I didn't. Instead, I chose to ask. Yep, ask. I chose to ask a question. Not yell, not tell, not lecture, just ask. I chose to ask this girl, whose name was Jade, why her first thought of FFA was one with killing animals. She began to tell me about a time the previous semester when a girl who was in FFA had ridiculed her for being vegan. By the story she told, it was obvious that this girl had really put her down, and it led to Jade having a negative outlook on what this organization does. After hearing this story, I got to tell Jade about all the amazing things that we have in FFA, like the leadership opportunities, the competitions, and how FFA had changed my life in several ways. But then I got to learn from Jade. She began to tell me about why she had chosen a vegan lifestyle and how convicted she was with her beliefs that went along with it. For the rest of the semester, Jade and I were partners for every single group project. We studied for tests together, and I can't count the number of times we helped each other out with homework. But beyond that, Jade and I became friends. She is one of the kindest, most generous, most sweet people I have ever met in my entire life. But looking back on that first day of calculus, things could have gone down a very different path. I could have gotten mad and defensive when Jade asked if I killed animals. But instead, I chose to see more into Jade's world and her beliefs. How often do we see a person get so mad and defensive about something that it only makes the situation worse? Or what about the person that assumes things about someone else before they really even get to know who they are? We all think the way that we do for a reason. If we just take the time to get to know where someone else is coming from and recognize that all of us have had words, experiences, people, moments that have shaped us into who we are and what we believe, wow, what a difference it would make. Right now, we have the opportunity to see more. We live in a world where it is so polarized and we think it's this way or no way. But to be honest, we have something to learn from every single person we encounter. We have all lived different lives. But what a cool opportunity it is to learn from other people. Right now, realize that we all have something to learn from someone else. See more in those around you. And when you allow yourself to see more in others, it will allow yourself to see more in you. Now, this makes me think about a time in my life when I failed to see more. It was my sophomore year of high school, and I was smack dab in the middle of my high school career. I was lacking motivation, and to be honest, I was in a slump. That July, I found myself on a plane to our nation's capital to spend a week with 300 other students, and you're probably already thinking it. This girl was headed to Washington Leadership Conference, and you'd be right. I should have been pumped about the opportunity to go to WLC, but to be honest, I wasn't. It was sort of like the Grinch when he gets in and he's all ready to go into Whoville and looks in the mirror and he's like, ooh, that's it, I'm not going. Yeah, basically, that was it, I wasn't going. But I knew that a lot of planning had gone into this. And also, my advisor told me that my registration was non-refundable, so there really wasn't a choice to be had. One of the very first activities that we did at WLC was sit down and write about all the baggage in our lives. Anything that was making us mad, sad, frustrated, confused, anything. At first, I wrote, well, yeah, I forgive my brother for stealing the remote from me, even after I told him that he owed me $30 if he did. And then we were told that we still had a few minutes to complete the activity, so I decided to write about what I was really feeling. I decided to write about a time a few months prior to heading to WLC when my parents sat me down in my living room to have a chat. I had no idea that the words they were about to tell me would flip my whole 15-year-old world upside down. I remember feeling numb to the words that they spoke and thinking about how everything was about to change. I felt confused, angry, mad, so many different things. They told me that they were going to be getting a divorce. When I heard those words, I felt confused as to why they had seemingly let my brother graduate high school, but not me. Here I was, with 2 years left of high school, and I had to deal with all of this while being the only sibling at home. For months, I was not in a good mindset. I pushed away my friends, my family, and especially my parents. That day at WLC, I wrote it all down. The confusion, the anger, the sadness, all of it. Then we took that piece of paper, crumpled it up, and threw it in the trash. The facilitators told us that there was more to our lives than what we had written down. And in that moment, everything clicked for me. There was more to it all. There was more to my life than my parents' divorce, and more to my life than any challenge I had faced or will face. Maybe for you, you're thinking, divorced parents is not my reality. But think of all the challenges that you have had to overcome in your life to get where you are today. Failed tests, lost friends, canceled graduations. You have overcome so much. This thought of more to it all has turned into my life motto that combines both seeing more and doing more into being more. It's a constant reminder to always know that there's more. Now, I'm not saying there always has to be some great big grand overarching meaning to everything that we do in life, but what I am saying is that you have the opportunity for more. You do not always have a choice in your circumstances, but you almost always have a choice in your reactions. So, choose kindness, choose forgiveness, choose boldness, choose to do more, choose to see more, choose to be more. Just choose more. Thank you.
Mamie, thank you for sharing your message with us. Your words of encouragement inspire us to be stationed by success. We now have the privilege of hearing from Montana U.S. Senator Steve Daines. A fifth-generation Montanan, Steve Daines brings 28 years of private sector business experience to Washington, D.C., as he serves the people of Montana in the U.S. Senate. Steve is a lifelong sportsman and grew up in Bozeman, Montana. Senator Daines has been married to his wife, Cindy, for 33 years. They are the parents of 4 children and proud new grandparents to 1. Steve and his family are actively involved in their church and community volunteer organizations and enjoy backpacking, hunting, skiing, and fishing. We will now hear a greeting from Senator Daines. Thank you for sharing your kind words with us. The friendliness and passion for agriculture that has been shown to us from Senator Steve Daines has been much appreciated. Thank you for all you do for Montana FFA.
Well, howdy and welcome to the 90th Annual Montana FFA State Convention. I'm so glad to join you all virtually today. And despite these very challenging times, I know that Montana FFA will continue working to ensure that the future of Montana Ag remains very bright. And to our 2019-20 officers, what a job well done. And to our 2021 officers, I look forward to your year of leadership. And as your voice in the United States Senate, I'm honored to stand by you and fight for policies to support our rural and our ag communities. Keep up the great work, stay safe, and go Cats.
We shall proceed with the state degree ceremony. Madam Secretary, what have you to report concerning candidates eligible for this degree?
I am pleased to submit the names of 175 candidates who have been selected by the State Executive Committee to receive the state FFA degree.
Our Constitution sets up minimum qualifications which must be met before candidates are eligible for election to this degree. All candidates have met these qualifications. We will now proceed to raise these members to the state FFA degree.
The state FFA degree is the highest degree our state association can bestow. Some of you will one day earn the coveted golden key of the American FFA degree. We urge you to maintain throughout your adult lives the same enthusiasm and dedication that you bring to this ceremony today.
It is a great honor to be nominated for the state FFA degree. It is still a greater honor to be selected for this degree by your fellow members of the Montana FFA Association.
Your new achievements bring your greater honors as well as additional responsibilities. You have widened your field of your services and influences in the strengthening of agriculture, the most basic industry in our nation.
You have been urged to advance towards higher degrees within FFA. We commend you for your accomplishments and encourage you to work towards new and higher goals in our organization and in your chosen occupation.
In meeting the requirements of the Green Hand and Chapter FFA degrees, you were told that the golden charm of the state FFA degree was awaiting you. The bronze emblem of the Green Hand gave way to the silver emblem of the Chapter FFA degree, which now has evolved into the golden charm. This is symbolic of growth and development in your chosen occupation. May the permanence of the rare and golden qualities of the emblem be a constant reminder of the strength of your education and worthiness of your achievements. Therefore, on behalf of the Montana FFA Association, I confer upon you the state FFA degree with its honors and privileges, and present to you this charm, the emblem of the degree. Will the secretary please read the names of the qualifying recipients?
I shall read the name of each chapter alphabetically, beginning with Bainville, followed by the name of each individual alphabetically within the chapter. From the Bainville FFA chapter, Violet Azure, Carissa Gobel, Aubrey Pickard. From the Beaverhead FFA chapter, Cash Atkinson, Hunter Bochting, Cash Kempf, Hunter Probst, Tate Raymond, Tristan Setzer, Timothy Sigmund. From the Belfry FFA chapter, Alyssa Thormalin. From the Bighorn FFA chapter, Nicole Green. From the Big Timber FFA chapter, Gracie Fleming, Dawson Lavarelle, Riley Prather, Nathan Ruth, Cody Steen, Raylan Thomason. From the Broadus FFA chapter, Josiah Brost, Courtney Cathy, Garrett Cunningham, Megan Johnson, Kylie Minnow, Gavin Severeid, Deanna Tweed. From the Broadwater FFA chapter, Taylor Noyes. From the Carter County FFA chapter, Hannah Labrie, Heather Labrie, Gracie Took. From the Cascade FFA chapter, Ryan Bogdan, Riley Bricker, Taylor Brown, Elise Crago, Caitlin Lummer, Caitlin Wade. From the Chinook FFA chapter, Alyssa Grucy, Jace Persley, Curtis Slaughter, Riley Wiegand. From the Shoto FFA chapter, Wilbur Bechtold, Lila Bradley, Amber Johnson. From the Clarks Fork FFA chapter, Serena Euler, Maria Stringari. From the Columbus FFA chapter, Leisha Cahill Stadell, Megan Reed. From the Corvallis FFA chapter, Charlie Palacios. From the Culbertson FFA chapter, Ashton Ader, Mariah Cathy, Jacob Crowder, Rachel Gilbert, Gabe Granada, Tyler Wilbanks, Eli Williams. From the Dawson FFA chapter, Che Van Dyke. From the Denton FFA chapter, Kiana Cunningham, Mesere Econom. From the Electric City FFA chapter, Lacey Raybell. From the Fairview FFA chapter, Becca Deming, Allison Young. From the Fergus FFA chapter, JC Ayers, Allison Denton. From the Forsyth FFA chapter, Caitlin Cardwell. From the Fort Benton FFA chapter, Megan Clark, Shelby McDonald. From the Fromberg FFA chapter, Braden Goodman, Aspen Heyman, Hunter Holstein, Daisy Robertson, Lindsay Turley. From the Gardner FFA chapter, Grady Cunningham. From the Geraldine FFA chapter, Michaela Dines, Ellie Meeks. From the Hinsdale FFA chapter, Haley Beal, Elise Stroman, Cordell Yonkin. From the Hobson FFA chapter, Isabella Long, Rachel Stevenson. From the Hot Springs FFA chapter, Sydney Jackson, Sage Jackson, Lacey Ann Lean. From the Huntley Project FFA chapter, Karina Kuzo. From the Hysham FFA chapter, Madison Beatty, Preston Long. From the Joliet FFA chapter, Jordan Gruel, Brooke Miller, Caleb Miller, Tisa Oswald, Zane Songstad. From the Kalispell FFA chapter, Maria Bay, Cody Bricknell, Madison Brandt, Keith Eberhart, Abby Fritz, Matthew Glim, Luke Heipel, Cages Holloway, Juniper Isaac, Garrett Jewett, Aaron Lang, Catherine Lilly, Shelby Olson, Jackie Peterson, Rainey Sutherland, Molly Sutherland. From the Lambert FFA chapter, Gabe Gonczarowski, Alyssa Hill, Blake Lean, Hunter Watson. From the Laurel FFA chapter, Skylar Daniels, Emily Hergenreiter. From the Malta FFA chapter, Jacob Drabs, Kendall Moore, George Orahood. From the Mission Valley FFA chapter, Kimberly Fisk, Ty Smith, Haley Wiebel, Kaya Hendrickson. From the Missoula FFA chapter, Max Andres, Justice Betts, McKenna Quirk, Sawyer Reagan, Logan Turner, Tegan Turner. From the Park FFA chapter, Cody Booth, Annika Estes, Jolene Frost. From the Red Lodge FFA chapter, Madison Morian, Shay Salt. From the Ritchie FFA chapter, Cody Byerly, Neil Kelly, Chance Center. From the Roy FFA chapter, Sadie Johnson, Berkeley Stroh. From the Ruby Valley FFA chapter, Anna Sophia Dupont, Madison Fable, Grace Larson, Zoe Lee, Cade McFarland. From the Shepherd FFA chapter, Kylie Coates, Lexi Dietz, Madison Henry, Caitlin Kitchen, Kylie Lemberg, Jesse Matthews, Jessica Teary. From the Shields Valley FFA chapter, Riley Fisher, Seth George, Emmett Gilbert, Jaden Huntinger, Tori Johnson, Cara Likens, Kayla Parks. From the Stanford FFA chapter, Dylan Taylor, Sydney Von Bergen. From the Stevensville FFA chapter, Wes Brown, Brittany Eyre, Caitlin Garut, Isabel Gilliard, Tanner Pendergeist, Kylie Rhodes, Hunter Roderick. From the Stillwater Valley FFA chapter, Zach Dagley, Kennedy Eckwartzel, Justin Helbert, Kaya Holmquist, Brandon South. From the Sweetgrass Hills FFA chapter, Matthew Hesla, Brooke Holland, Landon Omdahl, Bailey Postma. From the Victor FFA chapter, Lillian Challenor, Gracie Smith. From the Wheatland FFA chapter, Melanie Power.
I am pleased to present to you the 2020 Montana FFA State Degree recipients.
Our final recognition for the session will be the announcement of our state stars.
The STAR candidates in the areas of ag placement, agribusiness, and STAR farmer are selected for outstanding achievements in their respective supervised agricultural experiences. The STAR Awards recognize students who have developed outstanding agricultural competencies, demonstrated remarkable management skills, earned the state FFA degree, and met other academic and leadership requirements. Each of the STAR winners will receive a Montana Silversmith's belt buckle sponsored by Kristen Swenson and Kurt Robbins, as well as a cash award of $300 from the National FFA organization. We will start today with our STAR in Ag Placement. This award recognizes a student whose SAE is based on agricultural employment and not entrepreneurship. Let's meet your four finalists. From the Cascade FFA chapter, Ryan Bogdan. From the Ruby Valley FFA chapter, Zoe Lee. From the Kalispell FFA chapter, Aaron Lang. And from the Shepherd FFA chapter, Lexi Dietz. Your 2020 Star in Ag Placement is Lexi Dietz from the Shepherd FFA chapter. Lexi Dietz is working for Dietz Livestock. She began her ag placement in 7th grade, and over the years her responsibilities continued to grow. Instead of managing general duties, she now specializes in training the sale livestock to show properly. Additionally, she has expanded her knowledge of pedigrees and assisted Dietz Livestock in growing their media presence. Great work, Lexi. Once again, let's congratulate your 2020 Star in Ag placement, Lexi Dietz of the Shepherd FFA chapter.
Moving on to Star in Agribusiness. Each year, one member with an outstanding agribusiness SAE and proven leadership skills is selected to be the Montana Star in Agribusiness. Let's meet the candidates. From the Cascade FFA chapter, Elise Crago. And from the Missoula FFA chapter, Max Andries. Your state winner for this year's Star in Agribusiness is Max Andries from the Missoula FFA chapter. Max's SAE is processing animals. He honed his skills by working with his dad to process 10 grass-fed steers. As his skills continued to improve, he began processing his own animals and bought some animals from local producers. Outside of the meat plant, Max has learned how to find customers, track inventory, maintain records, provide customer service, and provide a high-quality product. Congratulations, Max. Once again, your Star in Agribusiness, Max Andries from the Missoula FFA.
Now we will present the Star Farmer Award, which recognizes achievements in entrepreneurial SAE development. The Star Farmer Award is sponsored by the Montana Grain Growers Association and Dry Fork Ag. Our candidates are, from the Chinook FFA chapter, Alyssa Grucy. From the Hobson FFA chapter, Rachel Stevenson. From the Kalispell FFA chapter, Abby Fritz. And from the Roy FFA chapter, Sadie Johnson. And the 2020 Montana State Star Farmer is Rachel Stevenson from the Hobson FFA chapter. Rachel's SAE consists of sheep, beef, and equine entrepreneurship. She owns 4 horses, shares a half a ranch horse, 15 registered Black Angus females, and 76 high-quality breeding ewes. Her horse project extends from a successful high school rodeo career to competing at the AQHA and 4-H horse shows. She sells her calves and lambs to 4-H and FFA members across the state. She continues to increase the size and quality of both her herd and her flock through systematic culling and purchasing new animals from breeders across the state and country. Keep up the great work, Rachel. Once again, your state star farmer, Rachel Stevenson from the Hobson FFA chapter.
Join us tonight at 7 p.m. for the final session of the Montana FFA State Convention. We will hear the retiring address of State President Caroline Rader and State Reporter Anna Slivka. We will also highlight the results of our speaking LDEs. Finally, we will install the newly elected 2020-2021 State Officer Team. Additionally, be sure to comment your name below to be entered to win some CFFA and FFA alumni gear.
Recordings of today's session will be made available on the Montana FFA YouTube channel within the next couple days. On behalf of Agri Studios, I would like to thank Tyler Noyes for being an assistant production manager during our shooting days, and Michael McKay for providing additional motion graphics for today's show.